What's up, everybody? I am back with another movie review, and I'm wrapping up July theme month with Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., the 1998 version film with the white Nick Fury, long before there was a Sam Jackson version. And this one was played by the great David Hasselhoff, who I gotta say, other than Sam, if Sam Jackson is played like the best black version of Nick Fury, David Hasselhoff has probably in my opinion the only white guy who was right for the look for Nick Fury, because you look up white Nick Fury, you cannot tell me that it's not David Hasselhoff. So it's like perfect casting. In all honesty, I have my gripes about the film, but I haven't seen this since since my younger years. Like I said, it came out in 1998, right at the height where TV shows the Spider-Man animated series and Batman animated series and so forth was like really popping off. So the 90s was right. It was especially when it comes to TV shows, is when comic book stuff was hitting its stride. However, when it comes to the films, still hasn't reached that peak yet. We had the Blade film, and it was still like a few years shy from when we will eventually get things like the Spider-Man film with Tobey Maguire, and definitely the X-Men films with like Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart, etc. So yeah, comic book movies wasn't really taken super seriously. As a matter of fact, this one is actually a directed TV film kind of thing. So it only had like a budget of $6 million. So it was directed by Rod Hardy and written by David Goyer. And not sure if it's still the same David Goyer. Yeah, it is the same David Goyer who did like the Blade films, or at least the Blade trilogy. I think he did all the Blade films. So I appreciate David Goyer because he actually has some kind of appreciation for the comic book genre. We have Lisa Rinna, who plays Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who, there was another actress who played Allegra before. Way before Elaine Bennis did it, Lisa Rinna did it. Completely forgot about that. Because, she, the character, had like a thing for Nick Fury. It's just a shame that we didn't get that in the MCU stuff. But no, Nick Fury, instead of having like a thing with Allegra, played by Elaine, I know it's I know the actress's name, but I just think of her as Elaine Bennis. You know who I'm talking about. Instead of having those two together in a secret invasion or whatever, no, we gotta have Nick Fury banging an alien Skrull. Don't know why. So stupid. We got Sandra Hess playing Andrea von Strucker, aka Viper. Neil Roberts as S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Alexander Pierce. Mind you, a lot of these people are actual people from the comics. Gary Chalk as Dum Dum Dugan. Tracy Waterhouse as Kate Neville, psychic. Didn't really lean into the mutant thing. Could have. Tom McBeef as General Jack Pincer, the S.H.I.E.L.D. director. I'm pretty sure that didn't last long because normally Nick Fury is the S.H.I.E.L.D. director. Ron Canada as S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Gabriel Jones. Adrian G. Griffith as Shield agent Clay Quartermain, an actual character, but haven't been probably been used since the 90s. Peter Hayworth as Arnim Zola, Campbell Lane as Baron von Strucker, Scott Hindale as Werner von Strucker, Dave Fontaine and Pierce go in the Yukon to find a retired Nick Fury being called into action after a shield base is broken into by Hydra, where they kept a cryogenic stored von Strucker and killed the Quartermain who was watching everything. So they pretty much got this guy out of retirement. And I love the way David Hasselhoff plays this because Nick Fury is like a grizzled old war vet kind of guy. And for the white version of Nick Fury, David Hasselhoff was the right choice. I am amazed that he even signed on to this project. And I'm not sure how you feel about how it all ended when the movie production wrapped up, and not sure how much money he ended up getting back if the budget was $6 million. But I'm not sure when it comes to inflation how it looks now, because I'm pretty sure maybe it gets close to the whole $6 million budget in this day and age. But I'm pretty sure he looked on him pretty fondly. Hell, the guy was in a SpongeBob film, and he was in an Adam Sandler film. So I'm pretty sure he didn't have no mind playing a comic book character. And I imagine if he did any bit of research, he can see that this dude kind of looks like me. And he plays a grizzled old war soldier pretty well. And he gets, got a cheeky jokes, not like Spider-Man quips, but every once in a while he has snarky replies. Because it's pretty much like a, American James Bond, the white Nick Fury. And so he pretty much greeted by his old buddies, Dum Dum Dugan and what's his name? Gabriel Jones, because they're part of the Howling Commandos, which was his old outfit back in the day. So they figured out that the people who broke into the base was the children of Von Strucker, who's trying to reclaim the body of their father, not really for sentimental values, but the fact that when Nick Fury was last active, he took down Von Strucker and left him in a room where this Death's Head virus that he was planning on using for the Nazi regime, he ends up locking Von Strucker inside with his own deadly chemical, and presumably died. But he's still kind of, I guess some level of brain activity. He's in cryo storage, and the remnants of that virus is still sealed, still tied to his DNA. So the children want to harvest that in order to recreate the virus. So we see the daughter Viper pretty much helming the entire organization with her brother being her right hand. And the actress, I gotta say, I kind of like the actress playing Viper here, because the only other time we see Viper in anything would be in the Wolverine, where Hugh Jackman goes to Japan. This version, the actress is really hamming it up, and I'm kind of liking this, where she's just like, she knows in a comic she knew she was in a comic book movie, so she's just going all out and just like chewing the scenery, and it's like really fun. I'm just completely engaged. Brother, I don't know, he looks crazy, he looks unhinged. That's all well and good, but he's more, I guess, kind of balance it out. He's more subdued compared to her, so I guess it kind of balances out. But kind of wish you got a little bit more with the guy. And then they got henchmen that kind of look like, Silver Uncle Festers for some reason. They gotta have faceless minions, I guess. So they figure, okay, they find out that Arnim Zola, still alive, but, relegated to a wheelchair, would have knowledge of where these people are and what they plan on doing, or at least how to eradicate, the Death's Head, because there's no known antidote. So we see a bit of a moment between Fury and DeFontaine, because they have like past relationship, but Fury not want to get like really serious because I want to say it's all about his work and saving the world, but he doesn't see himself kind of tied down in a white picket fence kind of situation. So he ends up kind of just through the few lines of dialogue, you can just get like a good story from that. It's like, man, you can just picture in your head how these two kind of screwed up the potential relationship. Hell, this day and age, this looks so much better and written so much better by comparison to what MCU's kind of slocking out every once in a while. Far too often, if you ask me, compared to the golden gems that we occasionally get as of late. So they go to a rendezvous point to meet up with this Interpol agent who takes down a couple of Hydra goons. So they end up meeting up with her because Interpol's been looking for Arnim Zola for some, info and try to get some interrogation going. So they end up rendezvousing to this safe house they got him stashed up, and utilizing the psychic to try to get some information from him. He kind of screws her up by, thinking about all the awful things in his mind. His mind's kind of very safeguarded from potential kind of psychic probes. The feedback kind of messes her up. That's when the Interpol agent wants to have a private talk with Fury. Turns out that was Viper in disguise, who ends up poisoning Fury with poison lipstick. Same kind of poison she used on the real Interpol agent, who we see later on, who's suffering the effects, because that poison kills a person within 48 hours. So now there's a time crunch to get a blood sample from Viper in order to synthesize a antidote, which they kind of did the same thing in the Wolverine when they got a blood sample from Viper in order to cure Logan. Because it's crazy how that comes like back. I don't even think the writers behind the Wolverine was even thinking about this, because the only other time we've seen Viper and Contessa is in live action. Contessa, trying to start up. Sorry, not Contessa. Viper really starting to get Hydra back in like a unified unit with all the lieutenants. They're still loyal to Hydra from like Osaka, Cairo. They killed the one in London because he, was questioning Viper, but she's trying to reestablish Hydra. So, they deduce that this pathogen, the Death's Head, they have to keep it in cold storage in order to keep it preserved. So they have to, because clearly she, Viper sends out a, to Shield that, pay us $1 billion. Otherwise, we will release this poison in New York City. So they have to go off into two teams because they eventually find out that, okay, Hydra's base is located, what was it? Alaska? What was it? No, it was Altoian Islands. Never heard of this. Yeah, it is belongs to the U.S. state of Alaska, so it's I kind of got it right. I was just guessing. To be perfectly honest, I was just guessing. I just think of Alaska. It starts with because it starts with an A. But the Aleutian Islands, which is close to Alaska, it's still part of Alaska. So whatever. So Fury, Pierce, and the psychic chick. I keep blanking on her dog name. I'm not good with names like that. Kate. All go to Alaska in order to take down that base and secure Viper, while Contessa and the agents following her track down any vehicle that's refrigerated. Of course, they come across a couple of decoys, but they eventually find a warehouse where they are storing that truck. But they have to wait on Fury in order to get the codes from Viper, because she's the only one with the codes in order to shut down the mechanism. Pierce, who's kind of like the I want to say doughy-eyed well, he's kind of like the newbie, but I want to say doughy-eyed. He does admire Fury. And so he tries to do like a karate chop knockdown on a guy, but it doesn't work, or he doesn't really do it right. They end up getting busted, and Viper putting those three in a refrigerated storage closet, where Fury takes out a fake eye through his eye patch, because it is actually a bomb. Like, he put like an actual bomb in his head. This dude's wild. And so he set it off against the wall so they can make their escape. They reach Viper and got her held after she, thinking she killed Fury, but ends up killing a life model decoy, which they perfectly set up earlier in the film. So they get Kate to pull the codes from her mind, but she, in her mind, flips the last number between 6 and 9. So Fury, just on basis of the way Viper was looking, it's like, go with 6. After Contessa finally tucked down those goons and killed the brother, which coldly Viper didn't really care, because she was out for obvious reasons. Hydra was going to set off that gas irregardless Hydra to get paid or not, and she was perfectly willing to sacrifice her brother. Uh, so they managed to stop that, but of course Viper ends up getting away along with the body, who she later fully revives. Soon to wreak havoc again. With the evil laugh between her and her father. Like I said, Coley could not give a F about her brother. Fury was later cured by the virus, and him and Contessa share a moment, but ready to reestablish his status in S.H.I.E.L.D. Ready to fight save the day again for the next Avenger. Now, I went through this pretty quickly because, it's a pretty simple story. I guess it is dated. The dialogue isn't too bad. It's just like you can tell this was made on a serious TV budget. The way things fade in and out clearly was set up like a, epic, episode per episode kind of situation, but it's clearly fused together to be in a movie, in like a movie style. The CGI is terrible, clearly terrible, even for back then, where you see like things like a helicopter, something basic as a helicopter is CGI, and it looks like PS1 graphics. Same thing with the Shield helicarrier. But honestly, I mean, the actors are giving it at all. No, nobody's really like, slacking off when it comes to their acting. But the highlights for me is Viper and Fury. Hasselhoff and, well, at least, like I said, all of them, but like Hasselhoff and Sandra Hess are the biggest standouts for me personally, because they embody those particular characters to the fullest, and you just want to see more of them, especially when they had their little interactions together. It was just like, oh my god, it was chef's kiss, really. But yeah, that was Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Not like a huge deal, of film. I don't know how many people really go back to this, but I do highly encourage you guys, at least if you haven't seen this in so long, revisit this just to, refresh your memory and see if it is better than what you probably remember. Or you might see some stuff that you might like now that you probably didn't appreciate back then because you don't have any kind of frame of reference. Mind you, it was made in 1998. We came a long way with Marvel movies and TV shows, and definitely the comics since then. So we got a good proper comparison, because back then we didn't have that many. Other than maybe like the big Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk stuff, or like I said, the 90s cartoons. But even back then, it wasn't all that much love when it comes to Nick Fury, except for certain niche comic book readers. But I think over time, I think there's a lot more love for Nick Fury, whether you're talking about the white version or the black version. But Nick Fury is an awesome character all around. Just so you know, in the comics, they try to have their cake and eat it too, to where they have the black Nick Fury being the son of the white version of Nick Fury, who had like some kind of thing with like a black woman. And now white Nick Fury is pretty much like a pseudo watcher in a way. It's a long story, but that's why for the most part, black Nick Fury has been like the one holding things down on Earth. And on occasion we get to see white Nick Fury, but he's on like a whole nother scale. I'm not sure how many people really like that. I don't mind it, because it was like a decent kind of story to get him to that point. But But anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think of Nick Fury, Agent of Shield, and would be cool to see like him reprising this role in some kind of, since we have access to the multiverse, I don't see why not we get like at least a bit with him, with Black Nick Fury. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.